Hello everybody, welcome back to PadfootTD Games. My name is Zach, I'm the voice behind the icon, and today we are doing something a little different. Now this is old, and I want to be clear on that. This is from 2017, and we are filming this on the day before 2020. This is a little fan-made project. It's a big group of fans, so it's not just one person. This is called Titanic Honor and Glory. So you're going to hear me moving around the microphone. It's acting a little strange. It's kind of just slipping away from me. Little known fact that I haven't really shared on the channel yet. Ever since I was a very young boy, we're talking 1997. You can try to figure that one out. I've been obsessed with Titanic. Every time in the library, when I was a kid, I would check out every single Titanic book that I could to learn about the ship. Watched all the movies I could, except I've not seen A Night to Remember yet. Believe it or not, that's like one of the keystone things. But I'm a very big fan of Titanic, and I'd seen somebody play this demo probably about 2 years ago, and it got me thinking. I was like, man, I really want to play that, but I never really pursued it. I never really thought of it, and I said, okay, I want to bring some new things to the channel. And I was like, let me bring in my other passion, which is shipping, which all started with the Titanic. This is a community-built game by a company, Titanic Honor and Glory, which is right down here at the bottom. Definitely go check them out. Amazing history. Let me give you a little bit when we're walking around what the game's about, but let's start this demo. This is a kind of a walk-around demo, proof of concept of what they're trying to create, and I'll go into more detail as we get in. Let's hop into it, all right?
First the train from London to Liverpool, then a short trip to the docks where I boarded the ferry to Dublin, then the long train ride through Ireland to Belfast. Not a bad ride, but excruciatingly long. Check-in at the guest house in the town proper, quick supper, quick sleep, quick breakfast, and a hop on the local train here to the Holland and Wolff shipyard. Fortunately, it was punctual. I was worried about being tardy for being 3 hours early. My darling Claire always said to me, "Robin, you better get out of the house right now and go be useful for someone." She always did lovingly encourage me to show up for work early and give my best effort. Titanic is likely no different from the Olympic. They're structurally identical. The Olympic underwent these trials months ago, so this should be a simple repeat. I board, observe her during the sea trials, vote aye or nay on her certification, and then I ride her back to Southampton. Come on, Robin, you can't mess this one up, as Claire always told me.
Alright, we have control now, and I'm actually using the controller for this. I wasn't sure if that was actually going to work. But welcome to Titanic Honor and Glory. It is beautiful. Realize you can't look around as smooth with... Okay, so this is run. Weird controls here. Not even look at the ship yet. Let's just look at the other things that are here. So like I said, this is a community-based game.
Let's look at the positive. The weather broke, and now I've been given the opportunity to board the Titanic advance of the trials. This gives me a bit of time to really admire the beauty of the ship before I have to scrutinize every last aspect of her functionality.
Safe. So yes, I'm not even going to look at the ship yet, even though I know you've already seen it. So this is a proof of concept for their piece. This is meant to be a full-fledged game with interactable characters. They have some major people backing this project now. Really, it's funding and time now. Where it sounds like you will board the ship on its original departure, and you will go through the whole entire story until the sinking 5 days from now. Well, not 5 days from now, 5 days after departing for its maiden voyage. A couple things that I just want to be able to walk around and look at. You obviously have the custom-built slipways over there that gave birth to the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. I'm actually very curious, what other ships, did they build any other ships with those slipways that are very famous in all kinds of photos and everything? Or were they dismantled afterwards? I can't see them being dismantled after only 3 ships, but you never know. This is a dry dock. You can actually see this. I can't. Yeah. So this is actually a floatable wall. It can be floated out and be brought out to make way for more of the Titanic, and it can pump out all this water so that you can service everything underneath. Yet again, there are some great historical photos of the Titanic in dry dock, and those are the pump houses. These are all facts that I know, that a lot of people know. These are some of the biggest things that are talked about with this game. So I can't say I'm going to be bringing you any other information, but this is just my take on this game. Another fun thing, trains definitely would not have made it down this far, but for this game purposes, they did. I'm very excited for what this might come to, but I want us to come over here and look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, the R.M.S Titanic. Fun little fact about this, took me, I think, longer than I wanted to when I was researching it, why it was called RMS instead of like the SS. RMS stands for Royal Mail Ship, where deemed safe enough to carry mail across the Atlantic. Never actually knew that, prior to learning that fact with the Titanic, and it just was really cool to learn, you know what I mean? But there she is. She's beautiful. I know we're going to get a better piece on this, better view. Of course, the largest floating crane in the world, put together by the Germans, which were then had a big fight with the Irish. If you were able to hear that, by the way, there was just a giant rumbling sound of snow falling off my roof. So there's that. That's fun. Scaring the dogs. Yeah, so between the Irish that helped build the ship, well, actually, who built the ship, not helped, who built the ship, and the Germans, there was a confrontation as well. There's a beautiful documentary that's put together about the construction of the Titanic. There's so much more history than just her sinking. Let's start heading this way, though. They do give us a little bit of a maze to be able to walk around and get our way through here, but I do want to pop in here and read some of these. Notice, these shipyards are dangerous and therefore off limits to all non-employees. If you are here, it is an express permission of Harlan Wolff Ltd. Or the offices of Titanic Honor and Glory. All environments are still under construction and will be improved for the final project. Neither Harlan and Wolff Management nor offices of Titanic Honor and Glory are responsible for any injury to non-employees resulting from falling debris, flying rivets, or misuse of tools on this premises. Now, fun fact about a flying rivet. Rivets obviously will hold steel together before welding was a thing. Rivets were strong at that time. That was the option to go with for putting together ships, obviously. You would heat up a, can't even think about it, 2-3 inch long little lump of metal, more or less, that had a cap on one end. You would hold it into place, we're talking glowing red hot, and you would pound it on the other side with mallets to join 2 pieces together. That had to be tight. It could not be able to spin within that joint. So we're talking very, very tight. If one got hit and the person holding it was not paying attention...
I had better find my way aboard. But I suppose there isn't reason for too much haste. No one else has even arrived yet, it seems. Plenty of time to explore, if I desire.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But the point is somebody could hit that rivet and it could go flying. A couple things that I want to talk about that I've learned. First off, these are scaffolding. This is what scaffolding used to be. Just individual ladder points, and then you'd put wood in between to make the walking. Now, the ship had just been finished up, nice and pretty, for its sea trials today. Hence why you can see scaffolding all over the place still. Fun fact, the sea trials are supposed to take place on April 1st, 1912. As we all know, the ship sank the 14th, 15th, the 13th, 14th, 15th. If you want to start going through all the dates that included of rescue, etc. It's supposed to be on the 1st of April, and they actually demonstrated it here really well. Look at those clouds go by, and you can hear the wind in the air. It was actually too windy to be able to get away from the berth to perform these sea trials when everything's supposed to be tested, okay? Because the ship is not 100% finished yet. It's operational, but not ready for guests. And since the winds were so high, we are technically a day early. So he says on the train that, he's 3 hours early. They actually canceled everything for today, and it was going to be tomorrow. So he would have had a whole day. Fun little fact with these are outhouses. which I did not know that I needed to know this fact. But then thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You just need a place to put it. Look at that water. Jump back and forth. So, I don't know. I get the concept and I get the want of privacy, but then for it just to kind of float away. Oh, be happily. Be happy.
I'm quite surprised by the amount of confidence the industry is placing into this ship. She's not even certified yet, and her first ticketed voyage is just a week from now. No room for failure on these trials, I suppose. It's like getting dressed up for a date when you haven't even begun your courtship yet. How do you know if you'll be rejected or not? I learned that one the hard way.
Robin the Heartbreak Kid, I guess is what we're going to be calling him. But yeah, thank God for indoor plumbing. But yes, so they did cut it pretty close, and due to her sister ship, who was actually launched first, the only ship to really have a successful career, which was the R.M.S Olympic, she had made a collision with a I didn't like that. Okay, so we'll check this out. It had made a crossing and actually had crashed into a fog ship, which is a giant light to help guide you through the fog, or a light ship, I should say, at least. And its automatic watertight doors had been deployed successfully, had taken on water and damage, and still stayed afloat to finish its voyage. So they were able to call the R.M.S Titanic unsinkable. Okay, so we've got a worker's cabin, lit during the day. Fun little nod here, by the way. There's an M and P for lettering. A little nod to the conspiracy theory that the Olympic and Titanic were switched. Yeah, they were switched when they were in dry dock. When they were in dock, to XYZ conspiracy. I never really read much into it, and I will not do that anyways. I'm not a conspiracy theory nut. I can't do it. So, little nod there from the developers. Just looking around, what else we got? Just a whole bunch of tools, but I think that's the main thing that they want to see in that building. There are a whole bunch of little Easter eggs around, little postcards that you can find. I think there actually might be one over here. A little shack, and boom, there we are. Now, as far as I know, I don't know, I can't remember. I think these are Seattle. I think all these postcards are meant to be Seattle. Because of a connection that somebody had at the time. I really wish I could give you more information on this. There's a lot of people who do research before this to enhance that gameplay. I want to show you guys the game because I think it's beautiful. This isn't a Titanic history lesson.
Belfast Lock is beautiful. With the hills around it and the morning fog, it reminds me of what I always imagined Puget Sound would be like. A man sure can make a living out in Seattle, if he can hold off the plague.
Well, there you go. There's a little nod. Another fun thing about Titanic, because of strikes at the time, in the coal industry, the Titanic needed a ridiculous amount to be able to make its voyage. But they didn't. It's just not a
reminds me of my childhood in Sheffield.
Weird little spots of dialogue. But yes, so they needed a ridiculous amount of coal. And so what they ended up having to do was to borrow from other ships. Now you hear about this when they left, I believe it was Southampton at the time. There was other ships docked nearby, and they used the coal from those ships in return of taking the passengers for those ships.
I see they're doing all they can to extend my travel time. How do I find my way through this mess?
Beautiful maze everywhere to get you through, Robin. But so what they ended up having to do is take the coal from the other ships, put it on the Titanic so it could make its journey, and they were going to take the passengers. Little did you know, because it's always fantasized in the movies, there was not a big fanfare for when Titanic departed. Titanic was the second of the ship class, so the larger ship parade was already done. It wasn't needed anymore. The Olympic had already gone, it had been successful, so this was just another ship. So there's people obviously there to see family off and, you know, to gaze at the wonder of what is this ship. You know, it's still humongous and it's still amazing to see. But there wasn't a big fanfare, and it was not a sold-out voyage. So that's really something big to know as well. And, you know, everybody thinks that it was like a sold-out ship, etc. It was not.
What in damnation? They couldn't lay out this train yard any better?
No, Robin. No. Before we get over to that gangway and we get on the back of this ship, I want us to walk over here. And I want you guys to see the amount of detail. Now, that it's not done yet, obviously. You can see where it's not done. But look at all the rivet work that's put in here. Look at the detail that's put in. And this is a 3-year-old demo. I have seen more progressed pieces from here. Okay? And this is just a proof of concept demo, and it looks amazing. I'd be okay if the game looked like this. But they want to make it perfect. They want to make it historically accurate. They are learning new facts all the time. And just look how beautiful this ship is. Seriously, you can't tell me that this is not a beautiful, beautiful ship. And I still love it to this day, and I have traveled on ships all over the world. Okay, enough nerding out. Okay, I was like, I'm stuck by an invisible... It's an invisible coal car. That's funny. Found it. Broke it. All right. Get ourselves over onto this gangway to board this behemoth here. Sorry, gotta stop nerding out. Gotta walk up. Ooh, even the creaking of the wood, and also tons of birds. Tons, and Belfast is very known for the amount of birds that go through. Notice, this vessel has triple screws.
They couldn't simply move these signs out of the way. This vessel has triple screws. Yes, I feel the same way right now too, thank you.
Notice, any workmen leaving the ship except by the proper gangway will be instantly dismissed. Notice, third-class passengers are not allowed on this deck. As we watch Rose over there, down on Jack, over yonder, creaking wood. But look at this. I can't wait in a handful of years to walk just on these decks once more. So much creaking. Oh my god. Just a great amount of detail. Looking great. Nothing else we can really explore up here. I need to get away from that creaking board. It's going to drive me crazy. Let's hop down here. Okay. Alright, walking up. There's one more spot I know that we can look at. I can just look at this ship all day. Let's start with that. But trying to get through the maze is what I need to remember.
So close to the aft gangway.
Okay, well, apparently we missed that audio piece because we had already gone to the aft gangway. Alright, we're going to have ourselves go this way. I know the forward gangway's up there. Tool shacks? Question mark. Just to add to the maze. I'd love to be able to say, look at the time to be alive and to enjoy these ships. And I would love to, but first you had to be really high class unless you were only going to do it once and start a new life, and that tremendous amount of work to make a life for yourself in America. But of course I don't want to also say, what a time to be alive and be on the Titanic, because, you know, odds are you're gonna float away. I'm running into a carriage here. Beautiful friend end of the ship.
Just can't beat that train carriage arrangement. It really stretched my cognitive abilities. People simply aren't stimulated enough these days. Claire tells me that every night.
I don't think your daughter likes you that much. So on top of that, just majestic. That's all I have to say. It's just, it looks beautiful. Before we'd head out to sea, which is a very shallow passage anyways. But little fact here, this is no secret to anybody. Because of course once one person finds it out, everybody will. But apparently, come over here. Another postcard, by the way, of Seattle, which I assume we'll eventually be able to pick up. You can actually sneak yourself out and break the map. Not exactly breaking the map. I'm sure that they want you to do this, but this is everybody's favorite screenshot place. So I'm gonna ride that boat toot toot and get ourselves out here. To take a beautiful screenshot. Yet again, this is probably the best way to ever view a ship, is from the front. You can get the complete scale of what she looks like. And I'm going to take a bunch because I love the Titanic anyways, and I need a new desktop screensaver. Let's get ourselves over to this position marker. Look at that. Regardless of the impending death, you've got to admit, imagine sailing on this across the ocean. I've done one transatlantic voyage, and it was for leisure. I would love to do a transatlantic for, like, the Queen Mary. You know what I mean? Where it's just from eastern to western. And actually, yeah, I'd like to do it coming back. I've done it to west to east before. Sorry. Yawned and then had to hit the microphone because, you know, PadfootTD games, and that's what we do apparently. Alrighty, let's get ourselves... Look at this channel, though. You have to kick yourself more or less over that way. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ship. Okay, I promise I'm going to stop nerding out here and there. Even my family couldn't understand my obsession with the ship from such a young age. You know, obviously I'd seen James Cameron's movie, which had, you know, helped with that. But I had this huge fascination with it. It's funny, though, a family member said my obsession came from naked Kate Winslet, seeing them as a young age. And maybe, you know, whatever gets you into something, apparently, it becomes a lifetime goal. You know, naked woman on the set, you know, that, you know, whatever. Can I not go back through now? Thank you. But, you know, I'd always had that kind of obsession with it, and I read everything that I could. I bought models. We went to the Titanic Museum down in Florida, which is now bigger. There's a couple around the United States that I really want to view. Just all depends on time, you know. And if anybody happens to know about it, yes. When the Titanic 2 is finally finished being built, it's being built in China right now. Underneath it's an Australian billionaire, or millionaire, I assume it'd have to be a billionaire, made a company called Blue Star Line, and he is building a Titanic 2. Almost exactly the same. It will have one extra deck, so it can accommodate actual lifeboats. It'll have pod system in the back instead of a rudder and screw. And also have bow thrusters as well.
Since the aft gangway is blocked, I'll board here through the first class.
We went on the aft gangway. Whatever. Oh, he's talking about the signs that are up there. It's a weird little pile of coal. Oh. Hold on, we will get on board. So these are coal. Holding those in place. It's for the ship to rest up against. Okay, just a random weird pile of coal. Okay. But yes, I will... there will be eventually a life goal to sail on that ship as well. Of course, not on its maiden voyage. We'll wait. A lot of alcohol around. Alright, well, before we board this gangway, I've already recorded almost a half-an-hour episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this up into two. We've done the exterior, we've done a little walk around, I've been able to talk to you guys about it. And we're going to do a second episode of the interior because there is so much for you guys to see. I don't want to make it an hour episode. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw, we do live stream on Twitch and we are on Instagram. Those links are down there in the description below. Let us know down in the comments what you think, what you might want to see in future videos. Always open to suggestions and ideas from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to show support, a subscribe is always appreciated. Just lets us know that we're doing something right, and it puts a big smile on our face every day when we get to see that number. But with that, I thank you guys so much for coming out to this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.